Wow.
I've never seen it from this side. It just said the content is going live to YouTube. I think that's kind of cool that it gives you notice.
Yeah, and it's thinking, so hopefully it's gonna work.
Yeah.
It's trying to go to YouTube.
It was farther than we had last meeting, so I'm gonna say some prayers here.
Said it started streaming.
Okay.
Less than
That's
one minute.
It says watching now, started streaming less than a minute ago, so I'm gonna guess it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay.
Are you gonna live stream?
So this is what I
We
did
have
last
to.
time is we have to live stream, record it, and then upload it. So. I wonder how many GCs are on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we get that information.
Now over on the Zoom side. So this is-
Okay, I can confirm that it is live on YouTube because I just checked it.
Okay, awesome. So then if we click, Fabian's in charge. I'm not giving any instructions. I think that one, yep. And now we've got you and us, and it says we're streaming live, so congratulations,
Oh,
yay,
yay.
good job.
Good
All
job,
the
Fabian.
teams that it took to get it to go. All right, well, I will call this meeting of the Alice King Governing Council to order at 5:42 p.m. and confirm that there is a quorum of the Governing Council. First item of business this evening is
Can we get a roll call? Who's online?
certainly, I think the only one online is Aaron.
Okay.
So present are Fabian, Pat, Veronica, you and myself, and online is Aaron Kugler.
Okay, so
We're just missing Rhonda tonight.
Dave and Ronald.
Dave and Rhonda.
Yes, Dave's excuse.
Okay, so first order of business is adoption of the agenda. Fabian has graciously put it on the screen for us.
Thank you so much.
Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So the only thing I saw when I was looking at it, the second readings seemed to be the same that were on the list last
We couldn't do them last time
Okay.
Yeah, we had
because we
to
couldn't show the screen. Remember, everything got long.
Yeah, we had to postpone them to the next meeting.
Oh, okay.
Because we couldn't do anything. I did confirm with the policy committee.
Yeah.
And they met last week to go over where we were, and Jenny
And
and
my
Pat both
notes
confirmed
saying,
that we tabled it because we
tabled
couldn't
to
make
the next
anything work
Okay.
on the screen. Any other comments or concerns about the agenda? Seeing none, as long as our technology works, can I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
so moved.
Second? I'll second. All in favor? Or any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, the next item is approval of the summarized minutes of September 18th, 2024, regular meeting. So let's look at what, if we can scroll down when we get there to the policies. But I do remember we couldn't make anything work.
I thought I had people recorded for the reading and the motion.
Let's go see, hang on. Oh, was it the first reading, so? Because we have
Oh,
a
that's
second
right.
reading tonight and a first reading.
Second reading of A3.
So, made a motion to do the second reading of
5A3, or 4, whatever number that is, A3, B4, and section BIF. Yeah, we did B4, okay. So when we get there, we'll fix the agenda, we'll fix the minutes. Right, is that the, hang on, what numbers are we on, hang on. Nope. Nope, we're right.
We're right,
Yep, these are different sections. This is,
Okay,
yeah.
this is 8, or whatever VII is. And those were VIV.
Right.
Yeah,
I was worried.
IV versus VII, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have any corrections or comments, so I will make the motion to approve the minutes from the September 18th, 2024 meeting. I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, Veronica's gonna abstain. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. I had no public on my email today. Any public? No public. All right. Comments from council members? Anyone have anything to chat about this evening? All righty, wonderful. We will move on. Ms. Christie, would you like to do your head administrator's report?
I sent that to Fabian, so if you can pull that up. Right, so I have our enrollment numbers there for the month of October. If you can just scroll a little bit so we can see that number, 383. We did have our 40-day count last week, so we will be under enrolled compared to where we set our budget. So we are anticipating a budget adjustment to occur later this year for that difference. We set our budget at 425 students. PED had projected us to grow to 450. So we are looking at a pretty significant budget adjustment that will be happening.
Do we need to do that budget adjustment decrease before the new year, or will it happen in the spring? Do we know?
I was told, and most likely around February.
Okay, that's what I figured it would be in the late winter, early spring, that we would do that decrease.
And I'm already planning for that and just kind of thinking through. I mean, like I shared with you at the beginning, there were some positions that I did not fill to start the year with, anticipating that this could happen. So we were already starting the year with less staff than we had last year, which makes sense because we less kids, you need less staff. I had already adjusted for that. We also have had a couple of staffing changes happen recently. Two EAs have made some decisions that made it to where they're no longer here at Alice King, and I will not be filling those positions.
Thank you for being so aware and for pre-planning. I know this is a loaded question and you don't have to answer it if you don't know yet. But do we anticipate having to make any significant changes in February or March for this year? Or is it gonna be on next year mostly?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I told you it was loaded.
Right. And I wish I had an answer, but I don't. We're still running numbers, so hopefully I'll have more information for you at the next meeting.
Okay, wonderful.
I had just one question on that. So you said we had projected 425 and they had projected us to grow to 450. Did they base it off our projection or their projection?
Well, I'll let you answer that one.
Their membership projection.
Yeah, but they for some reason, they also projected growth to 450, and I'm not, and I have to go back and just revisit that budget report to remember why that happened, because I don't remember off the top of my head. But I'm pretty sure they based this off of 450, not 425.
Well,
Does that
you'll
sound- does that
be
sound-
able to look at the numbers and
Yes.
tell us what number what they ultimately funded us for,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was the 450.
Okay, so that's like a
My memory is
70 or 65 or something difference in the funded levels.
And I do have to say that this is not affecting just us. One of the hot topics at the charter school leader meetings that I've been attending has to do with being under enrolled. And it's affecting many new schools right now.
Yeah, my memory is the money they gave us that we put in the final budget, when we got to have a final budget, was based on the 450. That's my memory, but I could be wrong as well.
I have one more dumb question, and when they allow new charter schools to set up, get their charter, mission statement, everything together, before they approve them, do they consider how many students are in the district and how full those charters are, or is that something they haven't been considering?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I know that, there's several different authorizers, and so it's up to the individual authorizers to look at that kind of data. I don't know if they're looking at it. I haven't heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
But
my,
it's such a great point, right? Because when another school pops up, it pulls enrollment from other schools, so it's cumulative.
And did they set people up to fail by doing that? I mean, that's something someone should be asking about.
Well, and I'm sure the authorizers are not necessarily talking to each other. How many did you get? How many of yours are under enrolled? And because that would have to happen too.
and there has been a big fluctuation, at least from what I know, and again, maybe it's not accurate, but between APS authorizing charters and people either switching to PED, which is gonna be one of our conversations in the next year, or just authorizing initially with PED, and not APS. And so I think that's part of the consideration, to Aaron's point, is that they're not talking to each other about how many charters are in the world, but there's also just low enrollment across regular APS schools too. I mean, for our community, I don't know where these kids have gone, but they're not going to school. They're online, they're in Hope School, they're somewhere, but they're not in school. Private school. They're not in even traditional APS schools.
Right.
Well, I think some of the research shows they're not there. I think we're having less kids.
That's right.
Yeah, that too.
COVID kids, yeah.
All right, any other questions on enrollment and 40-day count? All right. So the next thing I just wanted to share with everybody is that the APS site visit process has been changed for this year. It's now differentiated by tier based on the school's academic performance and overall compliance. So there are 4 tiers. I don't know the names of all the tiers off the top of my head. We have been designated as a school of distinction, which is the top tier, which means that we will have an annual on-site visit, which is but they're looking at that more as an opportunity for us to share examples of successful practice and exemplars. And then our compliance visits will be conducted every other year.
So where does that put us for this year, since they just changed this? Because don't we usually have a fall site visit and a spring site visit?
So now we'll have a fall desk audit and a spring no, yours it's different. So there's financial, special ed, and then just operational. So for financial, you're doing a fall desk audit now, that's happening currently. And then I believe your on-site visit is in the spring, if I remember correctly. And then special ed has a fall desk audit like here in the next couple of weeks. And that may be all they have to do. I'd have to go back and look at all of because everybody has like different criteria. I have not received the protocol yet for the operational component of it, so I'm not sure what my piece of it's gonna look like.
Yeah, and when you use the term audit, that's the term that they're using, but they're basically just looking at how we do stuff and that everything is okay.
Exactly. So under facilities, we had some really, really old cafeteria tables that have been with us since we were on Balloon Park Road, way back before we were in Old Town, that have kind of moved with us over the years. Some of them are a safety hazard, so they needed to be replaced. We now have 8 beautiful cafeteria tables. They're green, so with the school colors, they look really nice. So that was a significant purchase, so I wanted to share that with you all. It's just a facility upgrade. We are participating in a program called High Impact Tutoring. This is a PED initiative, And we set it up as an after-school tutoring program where we will be working with students primarily in grades 2nd through 5th. And they're focused on reading. We have 8 tutors who are working this program, which means we can serve 64 students in this program. The tutoring schedule will be Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 4:10 to 5:25. Parents had to commit to their child participating across all 3 days because it's a very systematic program. So the kids, it's not like they can just drop in when they want to because the program builds on itself. So that started on Tuesday. We are seeing good success so far. The tutors are paid directly through the state. So this is completely free to the school, other than we're having to pay for things like copies and some materials, find space for everybody, and then of course the administrative oversight. But all of the tutors are getting paid. They get paid for their times for planning and everything. So that program will run through December 6th. We have not heard yet if the program will be offered again in the spring. So we'll see how it goes, but that's just a really nice addition to what we're already doing.
And I apologize if I wasn't listening well. Have students signed up yet?
We started on Tuesday.
How many students do we have participating?
Right now we have about 50, but we're now in phase 2 of identifying students. So we identified everybody. Then based on who was able to participate, who wasn't, now we know which spots we have open, and then we'll identify for the next round. And then so we'll start filling additional kids in next week.
Wonderful.
So it's targeted. If like kids are having trouble, they're kind of first on the list. So that'd be very cool.
Yep, and it's based on their reading scores from our beginning of year data in iReady and iStation.
Oh, great.
Who are these tutors identified, and where are they coming from?
Here at the school, mostly we have 7 tutors who are current staff members, 1 tutor who was a former staff member, and who's currently working somewhere else and then is able to come in and be here for the after-school tutoring.
That's great.
Yeah, so there's people who have familiarity with the school, which is really
Great.
nice. And then I have our beginning of year self-survey data to share, but Fabian, if you just want to scroll down, I'll end with that. I'll go ahead and talk about important dates coming up since that's on this document first. So just some things happening here at the school. This Friday is a middle school only day. They're going to go on a field trip. Next week, we start our iReady math diagnostic testing window. So that'll be for grades 3 through 8. And then also next week, we also start our DRA testing window. That's for the developmental reading assessment. So we will have both math and reading assessments going on because we're getting near to the end of the trimester. Our audit exit conference is on Monday. On the 29th, we have a foundation meeting. November 1st is PD for all staff and also Boo Bash from 4 to 7 p.m. So we may need to do a notice of possible quorum. Yep. We typically do that for that event. November 4th is into the first trimester. November 5th, we have no school for election day. But then that Friday, we have a school day. And then the next week, we have a no school for Veterans Day. And then that Friday, we have a school day. So November is really weird for us. A lot of weird school days happening. And then I can go ahead, if you want to go and pull up that other document, maybe, and I can talk about our self-survey data.
So we went back to calling it Boo Bash, not
Yes.
Harvest Festival?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's not back and forth.
I know, it's like, it seems untraditional. I'll get back to do that.
Yeah, we're back to that.
We're back to Boo Bash, very good.
All right, so we have a design team here at the school. It is our social emotional learning team, and they also do a lot of work with student life. So they're working on things like student of the month, student council. But what they did is they push out the self-survey, and then they collect all of the results, and then they put it together into a presentation for the staff so that the staff could really analyze the data for their grade level. So part of the presentation that they put together was why is it important to know this data? And so they referenced some national research about why cell data is important and how knowing this information can help improve social emotional skills, have improvement in behavior, achievement in academic scores, there's a direct correlation between success with social emotional well-being and academic success. Right, if you just want to go ahead and scroll down to the next one. And then how are we going to use the data? So here at Alice King, we're using that data to drive our social emotional lessons and instruction. Using the information helps teachers identify the needs of students and how they can better support them. So there are 10 questions on our survey. So there's a page for each question, and then you can just kind of see where our students were by grade level. So, I mean, what we saw, the trend that we saw is that we have a lot of mostlies, which is the green line, across all of the questions. What we typically see with this data is at the beginning of the year, it tends to be a little more positive and favorable where the kids are saying mostly, and then by the end of the year, not so much. And that's a really interesting trend, because what that tells me is that as kids are gaining awareness and knowledge, they're becoming more aware of what that question really means. And so at the beginning, they're like, yeah, I can do that. And then as they're having lessons and a lot of instruction in that, then they're like, oh, maybe I need to think about that because I remember this. And, so I think as they learn more, they're not doubting, but they're I think maybe doing a truer assessment of where they're at. Then we have, so what I'm thinking about for our charter renewals, I am thinking that I want to really compare beginning of year to beginning of year to beginning of year to kind of look at that trend, because ideally we should be seeing some positive growth across years.
And is positive, when I just look at this, the green seems to be the more positive to me.
Yes.
Okay.
So the teachers and EAs took a look at all of this data, had discussions about what does it mean, how can they design lessons to really target some of this information through the analysis. Then they also received the data specific to their classroom, so that then they could really think about specific students in their classroom and then so they have the information for their classroom individually, and then how it compares to the rest of the grade level team.
Awesome.
Okay, so that's all for me. Does anybody have any questions? Oh yeah, we have Spirit Week coming up.
Crazy hair day.
That's always a fun one.
That was
Yeah.
always fun. I don't have any questions. Anyone have any other questions for Miss Christie? All righty. I assume we don't have any reports from invited guests.
No, we do not.
Okay. Then Miss Veronica, you are up.
The Finance Committee met this evening and we reviewed the September 2024 financials. That included the September bank statement, the bank register, high dollar transactions. And so if you got the report, you could see that there were quite a few. So when we review those high dollar transactions, we just make sure that the checks have multiple signatures, is there documentation, was there a purchase order, all those things were in order. There was one journal entry that we reviewed, and the budget summary, which is this time of year much smaller, is by the end of the year. We do not have numbers to present tonight, and each quarter the committee has the opportunity to review an employee file, which we did. Laura sent out that information for us, and we were able to meet that requirement this quarter. Other than that, everything was okay.
Fabian, can you go back to the check register real quick, please? I know CES is one of our big vendors, and I know typically when I was a check signer, I signed big checks, but never that big. Why was the check that big this month?
That one included the playground stuff, right?
Is it the $100,000?
So it was 100 and something.
It's the playground equipment.
Okay,
And so the playground equipment is here and on site, but will not be installed until winter break.
okay,
And so we had to pay for the material.
Yeah, I think it was that one, it was 100 and something,
Yeah.
it was big.
Laura's ready for me. She hasn't.
Yeah, it was a big one. There was another big one that wasn't payroll towards the bottom. That was that one, let's see. Wait, that was a deposit, right? Hang on. Go back up. What was that 500,000?
It was
Right there. Yep.
The
Was that it?
510.
Yep, that 510.
That's our SEG.
It was a deposit, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the money that we have to figure out what to do with on our 40-day count, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Just want to make sure. I think those were my two big questions. Was the big deposit and the big check. Okay.
And we didn't have any new vendors on this one either.
All right. And then on budget report, is there anything you need to tell us, Laura?
The only thing is, the bars that we've done so far, there's only been one that was disapproved. I forget it was last meeting, I think it was the meeting before that I did it. It was for 27, it was one of the 2,700 ones. They won't let me do a budget adjustment to make it match between what I budgeted to what it actually was until our audit is done for this year.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to wait till that's finalized, we'll see it again, I'll make sure that I remind you which one it was originally, but all the other bars we've approved are entered in there and reflected.
Is there a way, Fabian, we can see the total amounts just on
Can you like zoom out, maybe?
that side? Yeah, there we go.
And so 24109, we've spent down, and we actually got the check for that one this week for the RFR. 24153, I know it still says 100%, but we've already submitted for an order for it, so we're waiting for the order to come in. We sent that one down. The last big one, the 24154, that's the next one to tackle, but you typically won't see that one going down until about November, because we usually do stipends around November, December, and then we do it again in May. So that one's kind of like only two big chunks.
Okay.
They're usually taken out of it.
Any other questions on the budget report for Laura? All right, seeing none, I will make a motion to approve the financial report for period ending September 30th, right?
Move to accept the report for September.
Veronica, second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do we have any bars tonight?
Mm-mm.
And we don't have any supply of fixed assets?
Mm-mm.
Very good. Ms. Pat?
Well, the only thing I have to really say about the nominating committee is that we're still short our full complement, and we've discussed the fact that we would love to have someone with an educational background, a teacher, a retired teacher, whatever. So if y'all keep your eyes and ears open, maybe, when the Blue Bash comes and you're talking to parents or whatever, that might help. We can accommodate, I believe, a parent and a community member at this point. And then as far as professional development goes, Missy has started including all of you on the report that she sends out, and also the schedule for the month. And they're 1 hour sessions, 1 day a week. And Christy's also sending me those just so that I can make sure that I've sent it out. The last one for the month was today. I don't know if anyone, I know I haven't,
I didn't do it this month.
has been able to do anything for October, but keep your eyes and ears open. The November schedule should come out.
And I did register for Canvas again, and it appears to be working. I just have not sat down to watch.
And we're not required to attend the live sessions, they're still gonna have Canvas, or we do need to hit all of the live sessions,
No, we only have 5
5 hours this year.
okay?
to take, and they can all be done remotely.
Remotely, okay, so you're just offering this is another way to do it, with a live stream, and you can ask questions and all that.
And you can just send me an email asking them to add you to Canvas and everything.
Yes.
Okay, so that's all I have.
for
We've got a
that.
good start on the year. I don't think anybody's gonna be scrambling at the end of the year, maybe me at this time. Everything's
I
good.
refuse to scramble this year, so, I even refuse to scramble this year on my CLEs. I am actually registered for 2 all-day live ones, one this month and one next month. So, there is I'm proud of myself moment. Okay, Ms. Pat, we have policy committee up next.
We met on October the 10th with Jennifer Hathaway. And she passed the baton. And we went over and reviewed some procedures, timelines, et cetera. And I think that we've got a handle, or I've got a handle on what we need to do. We've got a couple items that are left over from Jennifer's tenure as chair to deal with tonight. But I'm hoping that, and I'm taking an example from Fabian in the strategic planning committee to kind of touch base once a month and maybe get together on a Zoom quarterly and not have the chair have the whole burden like Jennifer did.
Yes, and if I remember correctly, and thank you for leading the charge, Pat, and for having the meeting. Thank you, members, for attending. I'm sorry I couldn't, I was already in a meeting that day on Zoom at the same time you guys were. But my memory and understanding is that the next batch of things we need to start doing after the first of the year is reviewing the bylaws again. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
I mean, we can start it before then, but we could have a little reprieve too if needed.
Right.
So,
Because they're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
Unless something
comes up.
we're in pretty good shape. And I think Kristen will keep us advised of anything that
Needs addressed.
services needs to be addressed.
Yes. Okay, so then next up is the first reading. I hate Roman numerals. Is that 8? That's 8, right?
8F.
Okay. First reading of policy manual, section 8F.
Now, I know Jennifer normally read the whole thing.
Yeah, I think we can just read
I think we can read it ourselves, but
we
focus.
can read it ourselves, and the red is the changes.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'll read that. We're going to add section 4, or an additional sentence to section 4, 2 sentences. When possible, student will be transported by bus or public transportation. If not possible, students will only be transported in another authorized vehicle. And then going down to 4.2, we added the driver with a current driver's license. It's kind of belts and suspenders type thing, but I think it needs to be.
Do we have anything, and since this is the first reading, we could add it if we wanted to.
Right.
Is 5 the end, Fabian, or is there anything else in the policy?
In terms of changes, I was just.
Okay, yeah, no, I just wanted to look at the whole thing. I'm wondering if we should add, and this is just a point of discussion on this number 4, if we should add another number after the other factors deemed relevant, or something in that first sentence before the list that says that the head administrator's decision about authorizing a vehicle is final, the end. It's not discretionary, you can't appeal it, and she gets to decide.
I thought we had talked about that somewhere. Maybe it's the next, maybe it's the second reading.
Maybe it's the second reading.
What
Yeah,
was
we
the
could look
intent?
at that.
What was
But
the
if we
intent of
had-
this edition again? It was because you wanted to make sure that we had it properly defined what an authorized vehicle was.
Yes.
Yeah,
Not that people were authorizing or doing things without your permission, or was there some of that going on?
No, there wasn't. It was just because this came, I think, because this portion of the policy manual came up, it was just time to review it, look at it with fresh eyes, and then see, do we need to make any revisions to clean up the language?
and we don't want, I think the concern was, any parent can think that they're an authorized vehicle. So what the intent we were trying to get at with this provision, I think, from the last discussion, was that if private vehicles are going to be used for field trips, Christy gets to decide who gets to drive those and how that happens. Our first priority and preference is not, but if we do, we needed to have the requirements that she would look at and that she gets to decide. So
I thought if they were picking them up from a field trip, it was like them signing out, like they're no longer at school anymore.
This is about parents transporting other kids.
Other kids, not your own child.
Ah.
Yes,
okay.
not
They
your own
can't
child.
check them in.
No. And I can't say, you know, you get to take my kid on this field trip because I can't go, or you get to take my kid from gone, right?
Right.
So that's what we were trying to get on in the authorized vehicle piece. And so my only concern on 4, I'm fine with the changes we've made.
Do
It's
you want
just,
to put 4.7 then?
yeah, I think
Like
we
the
should
head
put 4.
administrator or his or her designee as final.
Final approval, final, what do I want to say, Aaron? I want to say head administrator or designee. The decision,
The decision shall be final. Yeah, I'm not sure I'd put it in the list with the other things.
yeah,
I
we
would
might want to
probably
put it,
put it after the sentence that ends for use in the field trip.
yeah, before the factors.
The decision to authorize a vehicle
Discretion.
Mhm.
rests in the sole discretion of the head administrator and is not subject to appeal.
Yeah, I think we added that on the second reading of this
Okay,
recently on something.
yeah, well, and I know we did it on the volunteer thing, and we've done it consistently recently on different issues. I just don't remember all of them.
It's just gonna be something important
And then I would move that sentence to before the sentence right before it.
Yeah.
Part of the conversation that the policy committee had about this is about our insurance company and what our
Mhm.
insurance company approves as an authorized vehicle.
Yeah,
And so I don't know if we need to add anything in here that says anything about.
it's your decision and you're gonna gather that information.
Okay,
Take the
perfect.
period off.
That's why I want to give you the power to make the decision.
Okay. I'm just thinking, what if the next person doesn't think to talk to the insurance company?
Well, by the time we have a next person, hopefully we'll be having these same conversations about these same issues.
Okay.
That's actually not a bad point she raises, though.
Yeah,
Perhaps put that as a factor.
yeah, we could put it, any other factors deemed relevant by the head administrator.
And approved by the school's insurance company, or something like that. Or not approved, but
And yet, actually, I think we should do maybe instead of there, put another little number in between proof of insurance
Exactly. Right.
and put the factors, leave that last. So start your paragraph, yeah, in front of the and, you'd be better off. There you go. We gotta get comma back, but that's okay.
It's nothing like some, everybody in the room watching.
I think we should say, let's see, proof of insurance, comma, should we, let's put requirements. I think requirements is the right word. I'm gonna talk out loud, we can decide. Requirements of, any requirements of AKCS insurers.
Yeah.
And any other factors deemed relevant by the head administrator.
So with all of this, like if someone wants to be an authorized driver of people on a field trip, are you actually gonna go through this process to check insurance, check requirements? And if so, should we even allow people to use private cars to take other people?
we had that conversation, and policy committee, we did talk about that. Pat, do you want to share the discussion around it, or do you want me to?
Why don't you? 'Cause I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
I don't have my notes with me.
Okay, so we did talk about, do we even allow the use of private vehicles? And Rhonda talked about how typically an authorized vehicle really refers to a school-owned vehicle, like a SUV or a small bus or something, and that typically we would not be allowing personal vehicles. And then that's where we got into the whole our insurance company and what would they allow or what would they not. And so, again, I'll share what I shared with you all at the last meeting. My personal feeling on it is no. It's too much of a liability for the parent, and it's too much of a liability for the school.
Right.
And I agree that, it doesn't say a parent vehicle, it says authorized vehicle. So for me, kind of pinging off what Christy said and what the priorities of the board and the administration are, my brain thinks an authorized vehicle is going to be a staff member. If this were to ever occur,
Right.
it would be a staff member's vehicle, because then we have all the insurance coverage that we would need, plus their private insurance coverage, because they're in course and scope of their employment while driving a vehicle for their employment. So
I was just gonna say that makes sense, but if the intent is to head off and doing the other thing, this doesn't clearly seem to do that, but I don't know. Maybe it could be considered for like next year's revisions or something to the
Right.
section.
I don't think anything in this policy though lends itself to a parent thinking they're the authorized vehicle.
Right.
I mean, just
Right.
from the words on the page.
Ambiguous enough.
Yeah,
The head administrator will be the one to say,
The moment you say never, that's never gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right, that's when it
It
gets
all
changed,
happens.
or when it's needed or necessary. So to have something in here where it is.
it's hard to argue.
yeah. Well, and I also think
Put together a good argument.
we're small enough, that some staff person could ask, could we do X, Y, and Z with this set of teachers and take these students somewhere?
Right.
And that's why I wanted that language in there, so that Christy can say no, if she, without backlash. Okay, are we sufficiently satisfied that we have first read?
Hey, one other question, the sole discretion of the head administrator, did you want to add or his/her designee like above, or just sole discretion of the head administrator?
Oh yeah, let's add designee. Thank you, I didn't catch that. Okay. With that, are we sufficiently first read? Can I have a motion to approve the first reading of policy manual section 8F?
So moved.
Second that.
All right, any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carries.
So we'll have the second reading next.
Next meeting, yes. Fabian, thank you for being the scribe and the
Yes.
controller of all things.
Thank you.
Happy to help.
Okay, so we have we have second reading of, and I just want to find
We
out
have
before we start, one at a time? We want to do them one at a time, or do we want to try and group them and approve them all at once? One at a time? Okay, no one's answering me, so I'm going to say one at a
Group
time.
I
Group them?
Say group.
One at a time.
No?
We'll just do one at a time.
Why'd you
Okay.
ask?
Sorry. Because I thought grouping it would be better because it doesn't look like we have that much, but let's just do them one at a time. Okay, section 8C. Maybe if you scroll down to where there's some red.
Section 8A2.
Oh, wait, sorry, I missed 8A2. I jumped too fast. There we go. Okay. Oh, second reading, no red. Okay, so 8A2, instructional goals and objectives. I don't think we have to read it all out loud.
I'll just share that for this one, we removed A2.
Yeah.
So we left A1
A1
and
and we-
removed A2.
That's right.
The discussion was to move A2 to the student family handbook,
That's right.
which I did, but in doing it, I also went ahead and put A1 in there too, because it kind of all
Fit
went
together.
together. So I moved all of that to the handbook and I shared that back with the policy committee for review. And so I wasn't sure how we needed to handle that in terms of making that a new.
Well, this is second reading, so we made all those decisions before we voted on first reading.
Or are you referring to the?
Handbook?
other-
The
The
handbook.
handbook, we don't have to approve.
We don't have to.
Right, so as long as it's been taken care of, that's,
Yeah,
okay, perfect.
you followed the instructions, so, yeah, now I think we could have done second readings all in group, but that's okay. Can I have a motion to approve section 8A2, second reading?
As displayed, I will make that motion.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, second reading, section 8C. We will look at it, but we wanted to make sure, we took out radio stations, we did network TV, school electronic communication system, so she can email, and I believe that was the only change that we made to snow days.
Right, and then the request was to put a statement in the handbook about how snow days will be made up.
Yep.
So that was taken care of.
Okay.
Now, the email memo that you sent me about having done this, should we put that in the Dropbox so there's a record of it, or do you want it for your minutes to support?
Oh, the handbook's on the website, and
Okay.
Chrissy keeps the current version there, so I think it's okay on the minutes. Because it's been updated and the current handbook
But
is,
her memo saying that it was done.
oh, it was done.
What was the memo again?
She just sent an email saying that she had done the policy stuff.
The
So
policy.
yeah, we should probably put the memo in the
In
Dropbox.
the Dropbox.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think you have it.
I don't.
Yeah, I just shared it with the policy committee.
Yeah, so I can send it to you.
Okay.
Okay, where were we? Do we have a motion in a second?
Do we need to make a note about this memo? I'm still not following.
No,
up
you're
there.
fine.
Okay.
We just need to put it in the Dropbox. Where were we? Did we have a motion in a second? Okay, can I get a motion to approve 8C, second reading?
So moved.
Dominic,
And I'll second.
Veronica seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, somebody remind me, what did we, I don't know. We just,
It was adding, it was adding a little part here.
on holiday events?
Is there anything to look at? Oh,
So it's the last part
Is
that we
that-
added, so we could be consistent with.
Yeah, it's 2-2 that was added.
Programs as well as holidays.
Okay, perfect. So we just added that we'll get excused if you don't want to participate. Okay. Thank you, Fabian, for the reminder. All right, so I will make a motion to approve the second reading of section 8B2.
I'll second that.
And any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okie dokie. Mr. Fabian, you are up with your strategic planning report and state of the school report brochure.
All right, so last Thursday, similar to the policy committee, we had a transition meeting with Jenny on the strategic planning committee. Part of that discussion was what unfinished business we need to carry out. That includes, we need to bring the strategic plan to the council for full approval, because we haven't done that yet.
So that's next
There's
meeting.
an action I need to complete regarding that, hopefully with the help of Ms. Christine, which is that we need to check with the equity council to see if they had any additions, changes, et cetera, to the equity council strategic goal and strategies within that. So
The equity, I'll just share an update with you about that since you asked. The Equity Council has not met yet since this school year. Since doing the CLR framework, the Equity Council took a short pause, and we're hoping to get meetings started again in November. So we don't have anything regarding the strategic plan.
Okay, so then we should look at this to put on the December
Yeah, I was gonna say
meeting.
December.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll do that. Also, similar to the policy committee, I'll be starting to get that team together pretty regularly, where it makes sense. So next week, we'll have our first meeting. Got that set up today, sent out the invite. Though I do need to double check between Aaron and Pat. I sent it out, and I have a Teams link. Do either of you have access to Teams? If not, I'll change it to Zoom. Just for my office, we usually use Teams.
I can do either personally.
I think I might be able to do either too,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
My law firm does not have the fancy teams like you guys have, but I get Teams invites
Yeah.
all the time from this one and others. As long as you don't use Firefox as your internet browser, you can just click the link like you do on Zoom and it takes you there.
Okay.
But it hates Firefox.
If we want
So you have to use Google or Microsoft or whatever, but not Firefox.
Okay.
And that it works as long as I am in the right browser. If I'm in the wrong place, then it does not want to go.
And lastly, so the state of the school report / brochure, I've been meaning to check with you, Dominic. I believe you have taken that action to get that ready so that we can have that during, I believe, the parent-teacher conference timeframe. Was that correct?
That's correct. When are the parent-teacher conferences?
Right
Or I
before
should say the
Thanksgiving.
student
Right before
conferences.
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Right before Thanksgiving.
Well, you have to approve it too, so that's why I was, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
we will be able to get it approved at the next meeting in November, because that's before teacher conferences.
It is, it's before.
So let me schedule that in to do ASAP. And then do you want to pull me into one of your meetings? I don't know when your next meeting is and we can talk about it there. Is that generally part of the strategic planning committee to?
Jenny always
do
just
what?
did it because Jenny was Jenny. I think the brochure can probably stay, mostly the same, but because of the strategic plan and, we're gonna approve the strategic plan in December, so we can't have a chicken and egg problem, but I think you guys can do a blurb that talks about the future and where we're headed and that, that kind of stuff. So
Can I get a draft? Do we have the?
I think it might be in the
draft?
Dropbox.
Okay.
Yeah, everything should be
It'll
in
get
the Dropbox.
approved next
The
meeting
the brochure will get approved the next meeting.
State of school.
Yeah, and we did that either in October or November last year. So we should be able to find the language on our old agenda of how we said that, because we did it the same way last year. We had them available for conferences.
It wasn't conference.
No, it was
an
open
event.
house.
It was an open house, so it was probably September.
September, I think it was probably September then, because we did do it open house last year.
And last year we had them printed at the last minute.
Yes, we did, and we can do that again.
Okay,
Well,
maybe.
I say
More
we can
time.
do that again. No, my brother printed them for us for free.
Well, I know, but you want to give it more time this time.
Well, the time isn't the problem. The problem is that he's been doing all of Valley High School girls soccer for the whole season, and it's been a lot.
Well, if we could get
A quote,
a quote, we could do it through
Yeah.
the school.
Okay.
I'm sure.
I can for certain get us a price, and he'll give us a good discount if he won't do them for free. I've just been utilizing my my freeness a lot lately, so I don't want to overstay my welcome.
Understandable, but having some kind of discount would be helpful.
Yeah.
Because when we priced these out last year, Jenny and I, in a variety of ways, was very expensive. So
Yeah, no, he will definitely hook us up. I just don't know if I can get him gratis, donated like we did last year. We got him donated last year.
Yes, we.
So Dominic, when is a reasonable time frame for the draft?
I'm gonna set, so when is your next, did you want me to jump on that meeting and
We're gonna meet next Tuesday, the 22nd.
that's
I'll
perfect.
add you to that if that works out, and if not, we'll figure out something else. And they'll give us enough time to review any iterations of that before next meeting, so we'll be ready to get it approved.
Sounds good.
Cool. I think that's it. Did I miss anything, Pat?
No, I think that's it.
All right. Next item on, look at us, ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna be done before 7 o'clock this
Anymore, just keep going.
No, we're done. Old business, discussion on charter renewal. That's gonna stay on our agenda. Is there anything that we need to be thinking about right now?
No, I emailed, our committee, because we now have a committee for this, and so I did email the committee so that we can try to get meetings scheduled so that we can, hopefully have information for you all next month.
She sent that today?
I sent it maybe Monday.
Monday.
Are you on the charter renewal committee?
Think so,
Oh,
but I don't have the Excel sheet. open.
let me look, because I don't remember having you in the email, Dominic.
So I'll just leave that on. for
Yeah,
the
that
next
one-
Few months.
Yes, that one's been the same
I had it on
perpetually.
it in the notes.
We may have to move it to new business when we have to
I
start
have
taking
that it's
actions.
me,
but for now,
Erin,
we can
Rhonda,
say
and
that.
Laura.
Yeah.
That's
it
what the
sounds like-
spreadsheet says.
It sounds like you all have enough people, but yeah, I recorded that, so I'm okay not being on that committee.
Okay,
There's some
Melissa,
notes in the
how do you wanna just, how do you?
If
Add
you'll-
that? Fine, I'm happy for you.
Oh, yeah, we
I don't know how to do that.
No,
Not
we
my job.
can just add, who's the chair? The chair, maybe,
Me.
but you? Oh, yeah, then you can just add him. The
All
chair
right,
can
do you
appoint
wanna be on
members.
it?
If you all need help, I don't want too many like chefs in the kitchen or anything.
At some
I
point,
just-
you're gonna have to.
I just had it in my notes and I was like, oh no, did I miss an invite? or
I'll
something?
forward you the email. If you wanna jump in, you're welcome to.
Okay.
And then
You
we'll
always
go
have
from
good
there.
questions. So look at things that some people don't look at that perspective.
That sounds good. I'll join.
And we have no further business this evening, ladies and gentlemen. There's no new business or actions we have to take tonight. So with that, I will say, I will make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 6:37 PM. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yay, good job, team.
Great work, guys. That was one of the shortest I've been in.
It is one of the shortest we've had in a very long time, and I will take it because I'm sure it's gonna be the last short one we'll have for a while.
The eye of the storm.
It's the way it works.
On the road. I'm
Oh,
very
no.
excited. I have a 6:30 flight in the morning and I still haven't packed, so I was like,
Oh, no.
I'll do it whenever I get home, I guess, so. Thank you all.
Business or pleasure?
So it's family weekend, so we're going to see my son in Salt Lake City. He's been away
Nice.
for 2 whole months.
How's it going?
So far, it's pretty good. So we really talked about us not like, and so he calls way more often than we do, and so we do like a text or something. It's been, so yeah, this will be the first time we see his face
In
in
2 months.
person. Like, we've done a couple of Zooms that were just like random questions, like, I have a dilemma. And so,
no.
it's good funny stuff, so we're excited to see him, so.
Have a good time.
Yeah.
Very excited. We'll have a wonderful time.
All right, I thought